afternoon, good evening, good morning to wherever you're watching it from. I'm sure it's one of those everywhere, somewhere. That's how the world works, right?
I think that's how time works. As long as time's not broken, you'll be in one of those situations.
Well, if time's broken, we got a whole lot of other issues. Eric and Mark here for another episode of League on Lock. And the play-in stage from MSI is finally wrapped up, which means we're moving on to the main stage, the main course, the steak of this event.
That sounds pretty meaty, and definitely something
that's pretty meaty.
Just like steak, I'm pretty excited for the main point of MSI here. This is an exciting time to be a League of Legends fan. You get to watch the champions from all the other regions come in here and duke it out to see who's best. Man, this is going to be some good stuff to watch.
Yeah, MSI, always super exciting. But before we get to the main draw, we got to wrap up the play-in stage. You had one spot left in that main group draw, and Flash Wolves and Gambit were battling it out. Gambit 5-1 in Group A in the play-in stage, and obviously Flash Wolves had a bye right to this knockout stage. Let's dive on into Game 1. Obviously, people were kind of hyping up Gambit after their 5-1 record in that play-in stage, but Flash Wolves usually perform internationally. But Gambit got Kai'Sa. GG. It's over.
I don't know how this still happens. How do you let this get through the draft? And this is exactly what Gambit had wanted. That Kai'Sa back here again, the highlight maker, back in that bot lane.
Oh, look, level 1 with your Kai'Sa. Hey, look, we got first blood, guys. This is a very fun champion. Gambit got out to a decent start, but then Flash Wolves kind of jumped back. Mujin was fantastic in this game.
That's a scary bug there, that Kha'Zix is doing some damage.
Yeah, but Gambit, you know, they looked pretty solid here. They had some good team fights. This one in the mid lane kind of got them pretty decent gold lead, couple thousand ahead of them here. PvP Stayhouse doing some work on the Maokai. Maokai. He is fully on tank duty at all times. And then they'd eventually...
Oh, no. Oh,
no, he gets the Baron. He gets the Baron. Diamond secures it, but this flank by Sword Art is amazing. I don't know how he goes around the map. This guy is hacking or something, but he gets the 4-man knockup. That leads to a bunch of kills for Flash.
There's just something about like some of these incredibly talented support players that no matter how far behind their team is, heading into some of these team fights with a champion like a Rakan that can just go in there and make something happen for his team, always happens with someone like Sword Art.
Yeah, and then this 5v4, they catch out Betty, and look at all the stuff Mujin has to dodge. He still gets overhand, gets the steal.
I just don't like watching any of these Barons get this close and just bam, how does that go over?
That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Flash Wolves take game 1, but he had to dodge the Braum ultimate. You had the miasma from the Cassiopeia that he's dancing around. He still gets in with the Void Spikes comboed with the leap in. That is soul crushing. Gambit, if they secure that Baron, they might win that game. Probably do.
You have to think that they would have won the game, especially with how powerful Baron would have been at that point in the game. Gambit, you have to be better, more secure on these type of situations. Those objectives, mandatory things for you to secure for your team there.
Yeah, so Flash Wolves come away with the win in game 1, but overall a pretty tight contest. Maybe could have gone either way. Flash Wolves had a bit of sloppy play, but Sword Art's Rakan engages really helped them get back into that one. Game 2 gets underway, and surprise, surprise, there's no Kai'Sa this time. And no one wants to play against that, but we do have a Kassadin in the
is it going to be good?
And the Graves for Diamond Procs. Graves looked insane yesterday with Yijin. This Kassadin here, this is so disrespectful. They just burned your Flash, and you just walked back.
Why?
And then not even a minute later. This is 40 seconds later.
No, not again.
He's still level 4.
Dude. This is one of those times where just, if you're in any of these other lanes, you're spamming question mark pings in the mid lane. Like, buddy, what are you doing? Come on.
I mean, obviously that was a huge lead. Kira was so far behind. Eventually, Betty got pretty fed as well. And then this team fight here in the mid lane completely blows the game open. Flash Wolves get a massive lead. And Kira, this TP, man. He's like 3 levels lower than everyone. He flashes in.
Just delete it. Just what are you thinking there, man? Like, I understand that there's a lot of pressure and you want to make things happen in the moment and you feel like we got to get a game here. We got to get our foothold here. I'm a Kassadin and I can do some kills. No, buddy, you're going to get deleted.
Yeah, the Kassadin did not work in that one. That was a blind pick Kassadin, by the way. They end up locking in the Swain. Swain does perfectly fine against Kassadin in that mid lane. Blind picking it, that seems a little overzealous, over everything. Just I knew you were going to see an interesting pick out of Kira in that mid lane. Wasn't a fan of the Cassidy.
Especially only in game 2 of this series already, going with something that off the board, you know, with off the board in that sense of it being a blind pick there and how you're doing that is just not something that needed to be done, an unnecessary risk to your team, and something that, again, you saw was being able to be put behind the 8-ball due to the strength of the Flash Wolves. They really capitalized on that type of thing. And hey, it really bites Gambit's chances of winning the series.
And the whole thing with Kassadin is, you know, you got to play super safe in lane, especially pre-6, and Kira just had some totally disrespectful moves. Burn the flash and then just, oh, I don't want to walk all the way around. I'll just come back through the bush. You just blew my flash. Really
mind-boggling type of stuff where you're just like, do you have a brain? And if you do, are you using it? Because really, especially as a Kassadin, that level 4 should not have happened like that.
Yeah, and going into game 3, 2-0 Flash Wolves, probably not feeling too great if you're Gambit after a loss like that. So what do they change? Run it back again. Bring the Kassadin. Part 2. This team comp is a lot better suited for that Kassadin. The first blood in this game. Here comes the Scion train.
The drift.
The most satisfying kill you can get in the game.
Deja vu right there.
The Scion ult. But then Gambit goes a little too hard.
Yeah. Saying, okay, you're going to have to pay for that one here, but
you got the one kill. Just back up. PvP Stayhouse almost dies too. You got the first blood. Just get out of there. It's all good.
Getting a little bit too greedy at times. It happens to the best of us.
And then another flank by Sword Art. Didn't matter what champion he was on. First, you saw the Rakan, the Alistair ones. He just flanks so well. And then Kira, you're flashing into 3 guys, man. Or you're rift walking into 3. That's not what you want to be doing. And this play, oh my goodness. PvP Stayhouse is straight up inting. I don't know what else this is.
I don't know where he's going.
I don't.
Are you lost? Are you going to the wrong place to shop? What's going on?
It's like he wasn't expecting to see the Flash Wolves team there, because right at the last second he just turns left. He's like, oh, get me out of here. This Baron Steel does not go quite as well as it did for Mujin in game 1. Diamond, they are down insane amounts of gold at 21 minutes. Flash Wolves get the Baron. They close this one out quick. 25 minutes, 15-3, an absolute slaughter. The one stat you need from those last 2 games. Kira on the Kassadin, 1-10-3. 1-10-3. You didn't think they would try it again after the 0-6 performance in game 2, but they do try it with a comp kind of built around it. And again, it doesn't work.
I think that's one of the matches where you have to say that maybe you're honoring the Kassadin for tilt proof, but it's only out of just being ironic because, dude, that's not the performance that you needed to have at this stage of the tournament to get your team where it wants to be into the group stage. Not enough to get it done. And another thing that you would have seen is that in that last game, you saw the switch there where you had Gambit playing the Kazakhs into the Trundle matchup, something that Mujin took advantage of in game 1 and was popping off on. This time for Gambit, though, not so good. That bug was getting squatted.
Yeah, and overall, I think Gambit just was too over-aggressive. They felt like they needed to make plays and not play standard almost because, well, Flash Wolves are just overall probably a better team, but they were definitely way too over-aggressive, overextending. Even when they would get advantages, they'd try and push them too far, like that fight bottom. Get first blood, we want more kills. And then you're just giving stuff up back. So Flash Wolves, very dominant series win. Only game 1 was kind of close.
Yeah, I think this was definitely a series where you can say that they were outmatched as far as the skill on the Rift right now, and that's nothing to be ashamed of for Gambit. I think that's more so a tip in the cap here for Flash Wolves and how strong that they have come here and how well they've performed in their first real test at MSI.
And Mujin got player of the series, definitely well-deserving. That Baron Steel in game 1, he looked great on the Trundle. And just a daily reminder that he was almost in the EULCS on Red Bull Esports with SKT Tall.
That would have been pretty dirty.
That would have been interesting, but they didn't qualify, and that wraps it up.